When you think about accounting outsourcing, one word probably comes to mind: cost cutter. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? Today, we're going to talk about how CPA firms are completely flipping the script, turning outsourcing from a simple expense line into their biggest engine for growth. So, does this feel a little familiar? That constant pressure cooker of busy season, the scramble to keep all the operational plates spinning, that feeling that you're always just one step behind. I mean, if you're running a CPA firm, you know this feeling in your bones. But what if there's a smarter way to do things? The thing is, running a modern CPA firm, man, it's about so much more than just crunching numbers these days. The challenges are piling up from every direction, and it's creating a serious dilemma for any firm that actually wants to grow. It really feels like a battle on all fronts, doesn't it? You're constantly fighting just to find and hold on to good people. You're trying to keep up with technology that seems to change every single week, and don't even get me started on compliance. It just gets more and more complicated every year. On top of all that, your clients expect more, and they want it faster. It's a combination that can bring your firm's growth to a grinding halt. So, what's the escape route? How do you break out of this relentless cycle? Well, the answer is to start looking at outsourcing in a whole new light. Not as a last-ditch effort, but as a proactive, strategic solution to these exact problems. And this is the absolute key. It's a total mindset shift. For like ever, outsourcing was just about one thing: saving a few bucks. But the really smart firms today, they've figured out that it's actually a powerful tool to build capacity, to improve their services, and to flat out grow their business. So, you might be wondering, why India specifically? Well, it's because all the benefits create this incredibly powerful combination. First off, you get access to a massive pool of talented professionals who are already trained in US GAAP. And that time zone difference? It's not a bug, it's a feature. Work literally gets done overnight while your team is at home sleeping. You can scale your team up for busy season and then back down again just like that. And yeah, of course, the cost savings are still a really nice bonus. Okay, so the why is pretty clear. But what about the how? Let's pull back the curtain and demystify this whole process. Because once you see how it actually works, it all starts to click. All right, a really good place to start is just by looking at your own team. Who on your team is handling the day-to-day grind, and who's the one actually steering the ship? Getting clear on this is the very first step to figuring out what makes sense to outsource. And this right here, this is the crucial difference. Think of your accounting manager as the engine of the car. They're focused on the daily operations, the reconciliations, all the moving parts. The controller, on the other hand, is the strategic navigator. They're looking at the big picture, the financial integrity. The daily operational stuff, that's the stuff that is perfect to outsource. Why? Because it frees up your key people, your leaders, to focus on strategy and growth. Okay, and this is where it gets really cool for CPA firms. It's called the white label model. It means you get all the firepower of an offshore team, but your clients, they only ever see your brand. Basically, your offshore team becomes this seamless, totally invisible extension of your firm. And look how simple the process is. Step 1, your offshore team does all the heavy lifting. The bookkeeping, the tax prep, you name it. Step 2, your firm's branding gets applied to everything. And finally, step 3, you present that polished work to your client as if your in-house team did it all. It's clean, it's efficient, and it lets you scale up without losing control. All right, let's talk about the big one, the ultimate stress test for any firm: tax season. This is where a strategic outsourcing plan doesn't just help a little bit, it completely transforms the game, turning months of burnout into a season of actual growth. See, when you outsource your tax prep, you're not just ticking a box. You're dramatically speeding up your whole workflow. You're actually freeing up your best people from that soul-crushing data entry so they can do what they do best: high-value tax planning and advising your clients. You get to use secure, modern tech, and you can take on more clients without the headache of finding and training seasonal staff. But here's the thing. While all those efficiency gains are fantastic, they're really just the tip of the iceberg. The real magic of strategic outsourcing, it goes way, way beyond just the bottom line. I love this quote because it just nails it. This isn't a race to the bottom to see who can be the cheapest. It's a strategic decision to build a firm that's more resilient, more capable, and more efficient. It's all about working smarter, not just harder. Just think about it. Suddenly, you have access to this massive global talent pool. You can bring on people with really deep specialized skills that would be nearly impossible or way too expensive to hire in your local market. That's a competitive edge you just can't get otherwise. Now let's flip this around and look at it from your client's point of view. They start getting their work back faster. The reports they get are consistently accurate every single time. That kind of speed and reliability, that's what builds serious trust and loyalty, which, as you know, is the foundation of any great firm. Okay, now here's one that most firms don't even think about until it's too late: business continuity. Let's say your local office gets hit with a big snowstorm or a power outage. Well, your offshore team just keeps on working. The workflow doesn't stop. It's basically a built-in insurance policy for your whole operation. So we've talked about the why and the how, but there's one last piece of the puzzle. And honestly, it might be the most important: the who. Picking the right partner is absolutely critical. So let's walk through a blueprint for making that choice. So when you're vetting a partner, this should be your non-negotiable checklist. First, they have to have proven real-world experience with the U.S. tax system. Second, data security has to be absolutely ironclad, no excuses. Third, they need to have flexible models that can scale with you as you grow. And finally, communication has to be open and transparent. Remember, you're not just delegating tasks, you're building a partnership. So, we'll leave you with this one big question to think about. In today's world, growth isn't about grinding it out and doing everything yourself. It's about building a smarter, more resilient system. Because look, the challenges aren't going away. The real choice you have isn't if you'll face them, but how you're going to meet them: by working harder or by working smarter.